Aloha, back again, Saturday. Is it still morning?
Saturday morning, just by 1 minute.
Okay, by just 1 minute. Still Saturday morning. After we got the primary off, we are now going to take out the transmission. So we're coming your way with transmission removal. And man, look at this mess. Do you see this?
Bits everywhere.
It might be a little messy, but not too bad. Well, here's that brake line I was telling you guys about earlier, which isn't a bad brake line setup, I guess you should say. I don't know.
Yeah, it worked.
I don't know. We might keep it. I'm not sure. It worked. It wasn't leaking.
Yep.
And we are just gonna reassemble it back and make sure
Yep.
everything's nice and tight and right. So, hey, we'll just keep this on the side. Well, try not to get all the brake fluid everywhere. So there's a bunch of different type of brake fluids. This would be .5. It's a synthetic brake fluid.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's brake fluids that you do not want to mix, like .3 and .4. You can mix. .4 has a higher boiling point, but you cannot mix them with this .5
Okay.
because they are non-synthetic.
Do you have a preference?
Well, the newer stuff comes with .3. Actually, the newer stuff comes with .5.
Okay.
So if your system has .5 in it, use .5 only. System came with .3, use .3 only. Just
right.
Some Harley Davidsons though, .3, or I mean .4 in the back, .5 in the front, or vice versa. You just read it on the label. It'll say .3, .4.
So how did you know by looking at this what it was?
You can kind of tell it's synthetic by the way it kind of rolls around. You can tell by the smell of it. Like there's hardly any smell to it. .3 and 4 smell bad. You can smell it. It's not like you want to go around sniffing brake fluid, but anyway. Let's kind of make sure that the line's somewhat empty and you don't end up with a puddle you don't need in your garage. There. Let's put that here. Here's your chain. You can actually take the chain off right now and inspect it. This is an O-ring chain. So how you can tell chains actually, so when you bend, you take them off and they're linked together and you bend them like this, there's really little flex in the chain. So it's fairly new and highly usable. So there you go on the chain. Let's hang that up. Transmission, just want to check the teeth. Make sure the teeth are all nice and not sharp. Not really sharp on the teeth. If they are, then you want to replace that. Now you can check back here, see if anything was leaking. I mean, you do have some oil, but it could be from a number of things that were, leaking in years of use.
These look pretty sharp to me, but you're saying they're not sharp?
No, you would know if they're sharp. You see this flat?
Yep. That
flat would be like a peak, and then it would kind of like be, the tips would be rolling over because it's really thin. So yeah, that's not sharp. It's actually pretty good.
Cool.
And you want to check, make sure there's a spring that's inside here. It's a return spring. See how it's returning? So when you shift, it'll go back to center.
Yep.
Sometimes that spring wears down or even breaks.
Right.
So right now would be a good time to replace any of that stuff. Replace worn seals or whatnot. I mean, it just looks crusty. It's like, they just built this bike to make it look like an ugly duckling. And I think that's what we're going to call this thing. The ugly duckling.
It does look pretty crusty.
It's a rider. But when you show up somewhere, it's like, man, that guy means business. Have you seen his ride outside? Right?
Right.
I mean, would you go outside and try and sit on this thing and mess with it?
It's not the first thing that you'd want to steal, right? Like yeah, it definitely looks like you're way into your bikes.
Yeah. Or just building stuff in your garage.
Yep.
So yeah, let's pull this transmission out. And since this bike was running and everything was working, there is a transmission which is bolted to a transmission plate, and the plate is bolted to the frame. We're not going to separate the two. We're just going to leave the transmission itself on the plate. We're just going to take the plate out if possible.
If not, we'll just leave it in place.
No, we're taking the whole transmission.
Okay.
Yeah, then
it's happening.
We can clean this stuff up and whatnot. Let's get to it.
There's no if not. It's coming out.
Oh yeah. Well, we're taking this thing down the bare frame, aren't we?
Yep.
I mean, that's what we're doing here. You can see the Loctite on here. It was on there. Pretty damn good. By the way, normally I use rubber gloves, but these old mechanics gloves will work. Whew! That's a tight one. Might have been able to use some power tools in here, but once in a while you gotta get a workout, you know. Keep the body by motorcycle. Body by mechanics. There you go, right?
The new fitness DVD will be out next week. Shannon in Aikau doing Body by Mechanic. No,
Is that like
the tight fit, yeah, the tight fitting yoga pants.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, there's a look.
That would be a look, wouldn't it? It's kind of European though, isn't it?
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
You guys wear Speedos like everywhere.
I don't know.
Like it was just like regular attire. No, it's not.
No, not so much. No, not in Britain anyway.
I mean, because it's less restrictive, or you don't like heavy tan lines. It's a toss up.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But it's holding it up anyway.
We better get back to transmission.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What's it? Redirect.
Redirect. Back to.
Yeah, back to the transmission.
Away from crusty pants to crusty bikes.
Yeah, I didn't say crusty pants. There's crusty pants now? This is a crusty bike, though.
This is a crusty bike.
But it's a bike that I actually own.
Yep.
I own it, and I ride it, so.
I'm sure a lot of people's bikes are in a better state than this to start with.
It's
but,
like, you know what's cool about this is like, because they see things that we build, and you know they're
shiny, yeah, beautiful, shiny.
Right.
Whereas this is like, this could be anywhere. This could be a swap meet bike.
Yeah, but you know it's still a rideable machine.
Yep.
And I say fun rideable machine. It's one that you don't have to worry about the paint job. You don't have to worry about, you know.
Yeah. There's no paint. There's no paint job to scratch.
And scratching it. I don't want to say this, but it's actually, even if you weren't an avid rider and you owned this, it would look like
you were a serious rider.
Right, yeah. Hey man, is that your bike outside? Yes, it is. Okay. So it is missing one bolt. We did not take out this fit stud. So as you can see,
it just moves.
Right. So it wasn't there. Now would be a good time to take the clutch cable off. But we are just taking the whole assembly off instead of just the clutch cable itself. Might need a ladder.
Tool helper.
Or an apple crate, is that what they call it?
Yeah. Who are you? Tom Cruise, right?
Oh, I did put on deodorant this morning.
Thankfully, it's not smell-o-vision.
A lot of Europeans not wear deodorant.
No, Europeans wear deodorant.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right.
What are you trying to say?
I was just asking. It's just a question. It's another question.
You just focus on your on doing some bolts.
Should I've been wearing safety glasses?
I tell you that with those shoes on, I'm waiting for the health and safety person with pocket protectors to turn up.
I gave him the day off. All right. Cable. About ready to extract the transmission out of here. Here we go. Just like that, here's your transmission. Let's put this on the ground out of the way. Cable up. Alright. Next we'll be getting to the engine. Aloha.